I am joined today by Ali Jafarian, who is the new Chief Transformation Officer within Front Row Dads. And most importantly, he is an incredible father, husband, and leader in this community and has been for years. So he went from being a all-in engaged member to now being a part of the team that is building the future of Front Row Dads. And I'm just thrilled about this because I love spending time with Ali. I know we just always find ourselves in the most meaningful conversations around crafting and building something that will outlive the both of us and many others, building something for our kids. I love thinking about crafting a business that my children will join one day, and I would be very proud of that. So this conversation is something new to the podcast, and that is that we're going to talk about what's happening inside the brotherhood, inside Front Row Dads as a community, and some of our projects that we're working on, and taking you behind the scenes, how we built them, challenges we face, what are the deliverables. And so from a business perspective, you might appreciate the conversation around what it took to get this particular program we're going to discuss today live, at what that took. And then from hey, is Front Row Dads a community that I should be a part of? If you're new to the show, then you're going to hear a little bit about that. Or maybe this offering that they have today, as you'll hear throughout the show, is going to be something that relates directly to you. And if you are a brother that is in Front Row Dads, that is a member and has been for a while, this applies to you also. With all that, Ali, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, dude. Thank you, as always. You're great at that. You're great at teeing things up and intros, and I'm going to spare all the things I would normally say and just say I'm grateful for a lot. And I'm excited about jamming because this was a quick yes for me when you introduced the idea of bringing real stories, bringing real challenges, real excitement. That's the stuff that I get energized by right now. So I'm also I just want to flow with what's real and not have anything more than giving people that inside look, that inside experience. Like, this is what we're navigating and this is why, this is how, and all that great stuff.
So I'm going to give the ending of the story away, and then we'll reverse engineer and talk about how we got here. So the reveal is that, in the coming weeks, like literally just as we release this will be weeks away, there will be a new program within Front Row Dads that is available to our members, but also to people that could become members. And this is a 5-week, we're calling this a learning journey, and very specifically chose that term, learning journey. And we could get into why. But that is what's being unveiled, is this 5-week learning journey that somebody could say, you know what I need right now is a little bit of a reset in my life. I need some clarity in my life. I need to be around other men who are providing different roadmaps to get to the destination that we all individually craft for ourselves in our lives. I want to be around guys that want to build businesses and make money and take care of their health, but they know how to, they want to juggle that with being an exceptional father and being an exceptional husband and making time for everybody that's important in their lives, including themselves. So if that sounds like you, listener, then you're in the right spot. This is for hard-charging, high-performing, ambitious men, but also guys who value space in their lives, value connection with other dudes. So they don't just want to be sitting as a keyboard warrior solo in their office grinding away to make another buck. But they're like, hey, there's got to be a better way to share in these experiences, to laugh along the way, to cry along the way, and to do this with other great men. Because at the end of life, I think most people, as I've seen, and I've interviewed a lot of guys who are fathers and grandfathers who are in their 70s, 80s, 90s, looking back on their lives. And they always talk about the relationships. They always talk about the experiences. And so I think we took the essence of that, Ali, and really built that into this learning journey that we're going to talk about today. Anything you want to add to the the spoiler alert? Like, hey, guy, this is the deliverable, or can we start by going back to how the heck did we begin this journey?
Hmm. I would add that if you think this isn't for you, it probably is. If you think this is another course or what I would consider boring webinar, it's definitely not. In other words, we've invested a lot of time, energy, creative experiments into this that I'm energized by. In our conscious dialogue, John, I told you from the start I don't want to be on Zoom. And at one point I was like, ooh, I don't know. But then we locked into something that was so much more than Zoom. And so Zoom is a vehicle. It's the best method we can use to reach the masses. And that's why we're in agreement and we feel great about using it for that purpose. But this is going to be way more than Zoom. So I want to set that from the start because I had to really check that and stay within integrity is what am I creating here? Is this something I would attend? Is this something I still need today?
Yeah.
And they're both whole body yeses for me. So that's why I'm excited that what we're creating is truly a journey. It's a journey together. It's a journey for yourself as a father, as an entrepreneur, and it's going to be awesome. I know it
Speak
is.
speak for a moment, Ollie, about what you see as being, the solution to the problem. So if a guy's listening, he's like, hey, does this really relate to me? If what is that guy facing? What are the challenges in his life that this particular learning journey that we're unveiling today would support? Though, I know that the guys listening are as busy or busier than I am. They got a million things pulling at their attention, a lot of places to be, a lot of people to be connecting with. Why is this the one that is the lead domino that can, if you tip this, if you invest in this, if you show up to this, if you pour time into this, it will give you some type of success or some type of solution that they are craving for? What is that?
Hmm. There's a easy, more surface level response that could be described as they, to what you said, JV, we're like, I'm busy. I got a lot of things going off that could be a way for them to realign. So realignment is the easy answer. But you know what the deep answer is? Loneliness. If you're a driven man who's also a father and an entrepreneur, and you're juggling, wearing hats, whatever you want to use, you're doing a lot. It's doing energy, less being energy. From my experience, you also experience quite a bit of loneliness. And I will raise my hand in that camp is that you're in all these things and you're driving projects, initiatives, you're creating impact. You are. I believe that. And the cost is often loneliness. You're in this game where you're like, what am I actually connected to? Is it real? And what we've been fortunate to cultivate in Front Row Dads is connecting to other men who are in it, which alleviates the loneliness. It's whether it's on Zoom or it's our in-person experiences that are even more immersive. It's this knowing that, oh, that dude, he's going through the same thing. He's walking the same path. He's on the same journey. So I would encourage you to check in if you're listening and really answer that question. Am I feeling loneliness right now? Because I have felt that more often than not, and I've tried to avoid it or dance around it. Whereas FRD experiences, virtual, in person, always help me feel less lonely and more connected to what's real.
Hmm. When you were building this, talk to me a little bit about how you ended up on these 5 weeks. And I'm looking at the web page right now. Somebody could go and follow along. frontrowdads.com/engage will get you there. But talk to me about these 5 weeks: awakening, the man, the family, the business, and then integration. Give me a high level overview of each of these weeks. What's going to be covered? Why you created it this way? And if you want to speak to the people that are leading it as well, that would be great.
Sure. Yeah, man. Thank you. And I also want to acknowledge right away that this is definitely co-creation. So
Mm.
you have been a huge influence in this. That's why you're week one, awakening.
Mhm.
So if there's anyone in my life that I believe in deeply that has the power, the energy to help people wake up, it's you. And that's because of the presence that you bring. It's because of the voice. It's because of your range. And 1 minute you and I could be in these like serious, intense moments, whether it's heartfelt or business related, right? And in the next moment, I will be laughing from my belly. See there? I love that. Like, I love that. It's this beautiful rhythm that matches life. And so you've helped me awaken over the years. I've seen you help other men awaken. You've awakened yourself. I've experienced it. And you're going to continue to doing that. So there's no one better than John Vroman to lead a session on awakening, the call to intentional fatherhood. Some of these words that we chose together, realign with what matters most in your life. That's real. Sometimes we fall off course and we think that this is important or we're in different seasons, but realignment and a container, a guide that helps you realign is so important.
Mhm.
So that's week one. We're also going to lean into the power of brotherhood, which again, you can speak to, helping men gather, really understanding what brotherhood means in your life, community, the power of men gathering. Like that's so vital, man.
Yeah. Hey, you know what I'm going to say to that real fast is that so many guys in our community are leaders. They are designing their own events. They're leading their team meetings. They're deciding oftentimes what gets spoken about and what the agenda looks like. But this is a chance for a guy to show up and not have to be the total leader of the
Yep.
group. They get a chance to say, all right, cool. You're going to give me a question that I can ask somebody. You're going to give me a prompt. You're going to help guide me through this thought process. So that's a beautiful thing. I love going to events where I'm not the host as much as I love being at events where I am the host. There's something wonderful about letting somebody else order off the menu for you for a minute. Sometimes I would go out to dinner with Tatiana and I'm like, you pick. I made decisions all day. You choose something for dinner, you know? And I get she loves when I choose to, and I do plenty of that, but it is nice when somebody else just makes the decision for you. And so we've carefully outlined an exact structure and a container and a system that allows for a man to look within himself, to understand other guys and what they're going through, and then to build from that without having to shoulder it all themselves.
100%, dude. Yep. 100%. So week two is focused on the man. And this is going to be led by the one and only Mike Wagner. So a good friend of both of us.
Legend.
He also, there's so many, back to your point you just made, there's a lot of guys in this community that could lead this session, that had stories to tell, that have faced fear, that have embodied courage, healing, and strength. But I selfishly chose him because he's one of my best friends. He's in my band. And I know that if we just trust in Mike to tell his story, he's going to impact so many dudes. I've seen it, in fact, in my fortunate experience to attend lots of FRD events over the years. There's a few that stand out where I'm just like, oh, like Mike's leaned in. He immerses in this scary path at times of like who he really is, how he wants to show up for his family, what's important. And so he gets the honor of leading that second week. There's definitely going to be the Mike Wagner-esque style of compassion and self-love. So if you've ever experienced Mike, he has this beautiful gift of really holding space for people and finding the love. Because a lot of times we go to fear or we start pointing and projecting, whereas he just has this skill, man, to see, and he's done it with me, which is why I'm so grateful. Where like I can be in my head or be beating myself up, and he's like, "But what if you just loved yourself?" And so it's going to be really exciting to have him share some stuff and let him lead that week.
You know, one thing I want to say about Mike that I could say about every guy here is that he has really done great work and made a lot of progress in so many areas of his life. When I look at him, I'm like, he's a guy who's healthy. He's traveling with his family. He is a great father, a great husband. He invests in himself. He's grown business, to the point to where, he's comfortable. He's comfortable. He can do what he wants when he wants. And he is also a guy who's willing to help others. Like he's not just sitting on the beach with a cocktail in his hand, like basking in his glory,
Right.
right? He's still showing up for other men, saying, "Hey, I got a couple things figured out. I'd happily help you." And he's still hungry. He still wants to learn. He wants to grow. He wants to evolve. So he is, to me, the ideal leader and ideal brother. And so I'm saying that to honor him, but also to tell the guys who are listening to this, some who know Mike as we talk about him, and other guys who are hearing about Mike for the first time. But this is a legendary human. This is a guy who it truly is a front row dad in every way, shape, or form, right? Confident and humble, accomplished and still ambitious. He's not done yet. There's lots of road ahead for him.
Totally agree. Yep, he's the man for that. So week 3, this will be an exercise of humility. I have to talk about myself.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm here for it.
So I get to present the family. And by present, I mean I get to share what I've been experiencing. Um, there is going to be a mix of presence, connection, conscious leadership, the things that you'll find on the website. And what's fascinating is that a lot of my experience, JV, maps back to what we talked about in the beginning, is awareness, which comes from awakening, which comes from being self-expressed. So if there's anything that I can fully stand behind, it's that just like my kids, most days I show up with childlike curiosity and wonder. And it's not always easy. This path into conscious leadership, this deeper mastery of emotions has its challenges. I mean, it tests me daily. Even this morning, I was frustrated with some dumb shit. But the whole point is that, can I shift and come back, right?
Yep.
Come back to center, come back to presence. And I can do that. I stand behind that. In fact, I even held some space for my wife this morning. She just needed to be heard.
Yeah.
And the old me would have went into hero mode, but I know this is what you need to do. You need to start this. But I was like, what do you need? So it was the question. It was knowing that it was holding the space, having a question for her, giving her the container she needed this morning. So again, I get excited by this stuff because while I could share all these things that have been awesome and insightful and powerful in my life, I'm still learning and I'm committed to that. And so they're going to get some of the best things I've experienced these last 6+ years being in the community. And then they're also going to get the real shit that's happening right now. So some micro moments that just showed up. So that part energizes me. And if nothing else, I promise men will leave with a deeper sense of connection to themselves, their family, their children, their partners. Like that's the biggest game for me right now. And I continue to practice it.
So much of that connection comes from perspective, I think. And every time we're in this container, every time we're with these other men, every time we're exploring these deep subjects, which again, not every man is going to do, which is what makes this group so special. Like the guys who will raise their hand and say, "Look, I'm busy. I got a full calendar, but I'm going to take time to really zoom out, to get a high level perspective, to detach from the craziness of my life so that I can see how I can show up in ways like you just described, where we can come back to center when it gets crazy." Because look, I got a 10-year-old, I got a 15-year-old. I've been in this work with Front Row Dads for nearly a decade. I've interviewed nearly 500 people on the podcast. I've read hundreds of books on the subject. I've been in hundreds, thousands, maybe hours of conversation around all this. And yesterday, Tatiana and I we had a rupture, right? And I was like, I was feeling all my feelings, and I was like, and I was being stubborn, and I was seeing my patterns, but I'm seeing them more quickly. I'm coming back to repair more quickly. I'm more skilled, I've got more skills today because I keep showing up every week, every month in this community as a student, as much as I am a teacher in this community. And that is the beauty of this space. And why you're perfect for this, Ali, is like, you're honest about it. Like, we know you're a great dad. We see the pictures on, like, the Hannah pictures with you and your kids on mountains and hiking and creating these meaningful memories, but also the realness of your like, hey, it was also tough this morning
Yeah.
because
Thank-
parenting is tough, because family can be tough. So
Mm.
thank you for your honesty, man. Thanks for your vulnerability. Thanks for your leadership. Thanks for continuing to lean in. Your kids are lucky to have you, buddy.
Dude, thank you. And that's why I keep walking with you,
Yeah.
because of what you just shared, is that we're wise enough to know that we don't know it all, and we haven't mastered the game. It's a journey, like we're creating here.
So week 4 of the business.
Week 4, the business by the one and only Ryan Levesque. So another great friend to us. Man, what Ryan's a hard dude to describe. He's so smart. In fact, sometimes I think I'm mostly keeping up with Ryan, and he's going so fast and he processes so fast that it's literally a masterclass. As we've talked about, he graciously offered to be involved here, and I trust him, not just because of his material success, which is, there's books and big businesses and all kinds of amazing stories that Ryan has and will share, but what impresses me so much is the way that he learns, takes action, and brings his visions to life. For those who don't know where he is today, he lives on an epic farm, which I happen to visit. His priorities are so clear. He's like tending to chickens and cows, like one part of the day, and he's leading some masterclass online thing another part of the day, and he's teaching his kids how to fish, and he's writing books. And you would think someone like that would be getting crushed. Yet he still has the discipline, the boundaries, and he knows exactly where he is. And that's why he is the one to lead business, change, impact, vision. Um, Ryan is extraordinary. And as I continue to walk with him and learn from him, he's a type of person that I just trust. Like when he says like, "Oh, this is what I'm learning," like I trust it's real. I trust it's authentic. And so I'm excited because he's going to bring a whole different flavor of business and vision than I think you typically hear in the world. And legacy is at the heart of it. I just had a conversation with him the other day, and like he's just so in tune with what he wants to create. And as his boys are growing older, these moments that are really very real for him. So I think that's just going to be a gift to have him kind of bring the experience home.
Dude, when he starts talking at a retreat or on a Zoom call or wherever we are, I'm like, here we go.
Yep.
Grab the notepad, bring out a journal. You should probably write this in permanent marker because it's going to be good. Just that type of, he speaks so eloquently, he flows. It's like he's channeling. Like it's just source energy, wisdom, years of experience. His books, Choose, Ask, his companies that he's built, one that he recently exited from. He is also, like, why I like him is that he is the picture of a guy who has created massive success and he's got humility around it.
Yes.
He's not in conversation with another dude feeling grandiose and better than and condescending to every human that hasn't reached his level of success. He's just very encouraging to people, and he's very loving, and he's very smart. So I'm thrilled for Ryan's involvement, and super grateful for his impact here. So, all right. So we've covered so far the awakening week 1, the man week 2, the family week 3, the business week 4, and then week 5.
Integration. So arguably the most important, and this applies to our learning journey. This time around, it applies to a retreat. If you attend a FRD live experience, it's one of those potential blind spots that people miss, where it's like, all right, I went and did the work, I showed up, and then they go right home, right? They go right back home into the chaos. And chaos is inevitable. Chaos is creation. It's going to happen. It's part of nature. And so that's why integration, which includes some reflection, clarity, really grounding into like what just happened, what did I experience, is so critical for going forward, for moving and walking on the same path, so that you know that you're bringing everything with you. I spent a lot of time, JV, thinking in my earlier years, there was all this like work life balance, and balance still has its place. It's a great word, but integration is very real, because for me, integration also lives alongside acceptance. So if I can integrate something, I've also accepted it, and my whole system has evolved. My whole being has shifted. And so I'm emphasizing how important integration is in the human experience, especially with learning. Like when we learn new things, it's one thing to just hear it and then put the book down or the podcast away. But if we learn it, then go practice it, do it. This is all a part of integration so that we can continue evolving moving forward. So that's going to be a beautiful call to really bring everything together, have some awesome reflection, alignment, so that the future is just better.
Yeah. I look at this as 5 weeks, a man committing 90-ish minutes per week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so your commitment is 90 minutes per week for 5 weeks, and an absolute like overhaul on your life. This is the check-in on you, on your family, and your business, and alignment with other great men, some great relationships, some great resources, some great support, right? To get you this is your annual checkup. Let's, in a way, this is your physical for your life, right? And also some prescriptions. So you're going to come in and we're going to run some labs and we're going to diagnose, and then we're going to give you some prescriptions. Like, this is what needs to change in your calendar. You will decide that. You will decide that with the other men present, and you'll not walk away with 30 new ideas. But our goal is for you to walk away with 1, 2, or 3 very actionable ideas. And not only that, but to do the work while we're together. We're going to have some of the activities that, you and I are going to blend. It's not just this sit and listen Zoom life. You're not coming on and just passively sitting, and you might as well just listen to a podcast or a book at that point. But this is working with other men. And actually, there's some real life activities that we're going to invite you to, right? Some chat to challenge you to, that will create momentum in your world. Is all that a safe? Is that safe to say, Ollie? Am I misleading anybody there with that explanation?
It's totally on in line with what we want to create. And what I'll add to that, JV, is that we're creating the experience that we're also going to do. So like you said, the offline work, we're asking for 90 minutes of commitment to the call each week so that we can gather and do the awesome dance of learning together. But then you get to go do the work in the world, the real world, right? The offline homework, the exercise, it's only going to make you stronger. It's going to push you in beautiful ways, challenge you where you need to be challenged. And that part really excites me, man, because again, I'm going to be doing the thing with the guys. You're going to be doing the things with the guys. So it's like, it's one thing, for example, to create something and then just tell people to go do it, but it's another thing to create the thing you want to do.
Yeah.
And that's what energizes me.
Yeah, super cool. All right, let's talk about from a practical standpoint. We talked about the event, and a guy's listening, going, "All right, cool. I'm in, right? I want to do this." What did they do next? All right, so I'm interested. 5 weeks to change my life, for my family, my business, connect with the front row dads. Where do I go? What do I do, Ollie? How do I make this a reality?
Dude, it's so easy. So lean in. Go to the landing page, sign up. You're automatically in. Our team, our amazing, thoughtful team, is going to have some onboarding, some prep prior to the event. And then the experience kicks off on May 1st. So there's not that much time. Intentionally, we want to build momentum, create energy and excitement around this so that it's fresh. You lean in and we go. And then once you're in, a big part of what FRD has always done, which I've labeled as a thoughtful organization, amongst many other words, powerful, visionary, all that great stuff, is that we help guide people. So there's going to be some great guidance from us as session leaders. There's be some great guidance digitally, so you're clear on the journey where you're at in our vault, our members area. And then there's going to be ways to connect with other men throughout the experience. And again, that part excites me. It's going to be easy to be with us, and the work might not be easy. That's the point, is that we want to challenge you, want to give you an extraordinary experience that's going to help you evolve. So getting started is easy. Just lean in. I'm going to keep saying those words. Don't overthink it too. We've talked about this on past podcasts. If you see an event, do you know the events for you, and then you go overthink it? It's like, don't overthink it. Like we've made this easy by design so that you lean in, you show up, and you do the work with us.
Yeah, just say yes. Frontrowdads.com/engage. Is there a code to give them a couple bucks off? Do we have a code for them?
Yeah, I mean, right now there's early bird. So if they take action now,
yeah,
before the 18th of April, they're just going to automatically get the early bird discount. And I imagine our members get a sweet code so they can bring another brother, bring a friend, bring anyone at half the financial investment, which is pretty awesome. And then we'll see. Maybe we'll sprinkle some cool little teasers that feel authentic as we lead up to the event.
So for members, if you're listening to this, just go to the vault and you can get all your info there, or just go to the Engage page. And for anybody at any point, if you just have a question about all this, just team@frontrowdads.com is an email. Team@frontrowdads.com. If you get stuck, if you're like, what do I do? Where do I go? Team@frontrowdads.com will get you there. But this page is frontrowdads.com/engage for this 5-week learning journey that starts May 1st. This starts May 1st. So as we release this show, or you hear about this, go check it out, sign up, block the time on your calendar, and just make it happen. It will be worth it. And if it's not worth it, by the way, if you literally get to the end of this learning journey, you and I didn't talk about this, Ali, but if you get to the end of the learning journey, like, I learned nothing, all these men are trash, what the hell was Ali and John talking about? Yeah, just shoot me an email, dude. I'll send your money back. I don't want your cash. Like, this is, but dude, you're going to love it. I just know you're going to love it. We've poured heart and soul into this. The leaders here are extraordinary. And the way that we've structured this, again, this is not you sitting on a Zoom and being lectured at. This is you being engaged, learning, doing the work, and actually creating transformation in your life. That's what's happening here. This is an interactive, experiential a process that we are going to go through, a journey together. That's what we want. We're going to do hard things. We're going to overcome obstacles. We're going to face our fears, and we're going to build towards a vision that excites us. And how freaking cool is it that you'll be able to know in your heart that you actually did some stuff around family life and fatherhood that most men don't. Most men, this isn't a poke at guys, but most men aren't even hearing about this. Most men aren't even considering this. They're in survival mode. They just go to work, they show up, they sit at their kitchen table exhausted. They barely keep up, right? They have a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, right? They're repeating generational patterns and trauma they learned from their dads without correcting and course, right? And this is a chance to do something unique and different that I think is we're in a perfect season globally for Front Row Dads to align with entrepreneurs and business owners to make this shift. So, Ali, we could end there, but I'm not going to just yet. How are you doing on time? I should check in.
Great. Yeah, okay. I'm here.
So we've covered what's going to happen, why it benefits the guy, where to go to sign up, when it starts. We've covered a lot of the basics. Unless I'm missing something on that, I'd love to go back for a moment and talk about why we did this.
Yep.
Go back to the genesis, the story of how we even launched this. And maybe we can take the angle of, even if I back up to 2020, the world's shutting down, nobody can go anywhere, no live events are supposed to be happening. And Front Row Dads created our Summit Series program, where we were creating these online events, but they were much longer. They were 4 and 5 hours. But guys were hungry for that. They're like, I can't go anywhere. My brother's online, and we had these big online summit events. And we have hundreds of people showing up to these events. We had amazing conversations. Lives are being changed. They were fantastic. the evolution of front row dads has led us here. So maybe talk about why you leaned into this, why you said yes to this, and walk us through the journey of creation, because we'll get to that promise that we said earlier, which is a little bit about like the business of this,
Right. Yeah.
and why we're doing this.
Dude, totally. Okay. Yeah, let's start there actually. So there's some obvious business reasons for this, which most of our audience is going to get right away. Like, how can we expand our reach and create systems? So, like online experiences like this that also align with our values, which is helping men connect and gather. And I'm not going to go deep into that because it's actually quite simple. It's just we can reach more men who 5 week like digital plus offline work experience is more practical than flying and meeting us at an in-person event, leaving their family, all that stuff. So that's very real, is that we are doing something, we're planting this seed in effort to grow the garden in new ways. But that's not why I really did this. I did this, which I shared at our last VIP retreat. I was a whole body yes for this because when I think about deeper purpose, deeper impact, getting out of bed in the morning and driving towards action, doing energy, I know in my heart that many men need this. You started talking about it. Many men that are close in my life that aren't front row dads, I make up a story that they need this or this could help them. And so when I think about, some of these deeper legacy-based questions, like what do I want to help co-create with my time on this planet? It's things that can really serve humanity. And as I've learned and I continue to walk and embody as a front row dad, there's not many more things that are more important than showing up as an intentional father and leaning in and being there for your family, building businesses that really matter to you and not just something that has all the status gains and the stuff that just gets blown out of proportion in our world. So there's definitely that deep core soul-based work here for me, is that helping co-create something that can literally touch every home if we really dream into it.
Dude, I love it. What I will add to this is I will just add that, look, we have 300 and some front row dad brothers, and it's a membership community. People are investors in our mission. So I like to look at it like this, like, yes, men are investing into our community. There's a membership fee to be a part of Front Row Dads, and they are funding an entire staff that's working behind the scenes to craft and create experiences, events, processes, programs that not only support all of our current men, but they support all the men that that we will impact in the future, right? That is what happens, right? They impact all the men for generations to come. And so I look at our guys as investors, and these guys are radically sold out. When people join Front Row Dads, they stay in Front Row Dads for a long period of time.
Yeah.
But there is a group of guys out there that are like, I don't know, is this the right community for me? Should I go in as a member? I'm not sure if I want to commit to an entire year or a lifetime of Front Row Dads. And you're like, cool, this is a way to sample, to taste, to experience it at a very look, 5 weeks. We could do 5 weeks, and then we can decide if Front Row Dads is the right thing for me. So just from a business perspective, it's less of a commitment, it's less of a financial investment, and it's a way for a guy to say, let me see if this is a community I could really lean into.
For sure.
Without a huge commitment. So I love that we're doing that. I'll throw that out there as our final piece. I know that we've got a wrap here, Ali, on this call. I've got another call I got to jump on. So I'm just going to say this to close. frontrowdads.com/engage. Right? I want to invite everybody to go today and just make it happen. Just say yes. And you can thank us later for that strong encouragement. I want to acknowledge you, Ali, and thank you for your contributions to Front Row Dads and helping build this. So much heart, so much love, so much thoughtfulness has gone into it. I'm very proud of it. And what I will say is this also, I'm hoping that our editors can just stitch in this video that we just created towards the end of this video, towards the end of this audio, because we crafted something that I'll invite everybody to stick around and hear this invitation to join our event, which I'm excited about. So, which you'll also see that video on the homepage at frontrowdads.com/engage. Thank you, Ali, for everything, man. I'm excited about this. I'm pumped about it. And I hope to see a bunch of guys there on May 1st.
You're a driven man, you lead at work, you hustle to provide, but deep down, you know that success at home matters most. The question is, are you leading there with the same clarity and purpose? At Front Row Dads, we totally get it. Juggling business and family is not easy, and that's why we created FRD Engage, a 5-week experience designed for men like you, fathers, husbands, leaders who refuse to settle. This is more than a course. It's a live online journey with real dads, real conversations, and real change. You'll walk away with a clear path to deeper connection with your wife and kids, tools to align your business with your family values, daily habits that create lasting change, clarity and confidence to lead your family with purpose. You don't need to figure this out alone. You'll join a brotherhood of men raising the bar together. Don't wait for a wake-up call, because if you're not leading at home, who is? Go now to frontrowdads.com to learn more. That's frontrowdads.com to learn more. Join us and step fully into the role that only you can play.